This season is going to be different. I've studied maps for countless hours, walked over 300 miles just scouting, and dove head-on into my obsession with whitetails. My preparation has been better than ever, and my passion is at an all-time high. I've got a new 4K resolution camcorder, a new GoPro, a new 4K drone, and a new microphone. I've put in a lot of work to hone my skills with this equipment, and I'm just trying to bring you guys the absolute best footage and documentation I can. I'm geared up, well-practiced, and hell-bent on bringing the hunting beast community the best whitetail footage it's ever seen. It's a new season, a new chance at redemption, a new chance to challenge myself, and you can bet another public land buck is going to hit the ground. Stay tuned to see every step of how I go from selecting a new piece of public to killing a mature buck on it. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss what's to come. The season started out just like any other. The first few hunts got ruined because of pressure. I saw plenty of does. I had several of those does alert the buck that I was hunting that he shouldn't come in, and I had a blast being out in the woods again. The opening weeks were different because I met a few people that recognized me, including a very nice guy named Jacob from Louisiana. I didn't have wrestling every afternoon for the first time ever, so I actually got to implement true early season beast tactics and hunt some afternoons, and I saw a lot of bucks. I'll save you the boring these first few days, but essentially it went like this. I set up using historical knowledge and things I found during scouting. The wrong deer came in, and it got dark. However, September 25th marks the day that this season became different than any other. It is Sunday, September 25th right now. I'm headed out to the stand. It's about 3:30, and I'm going to have to race out there. We've got a very, very stiff northwest wind today, and that works out pretty dang well for some of my spots. One spot that I've really been wanting to hit early season, it's just barely an off wind for it. Perfect for the buck to be in there. There's oaks dropping outside the bed, but with this really stiff breeze, I've seen a lot of times deer want to be in an area that's got a little bit of overhead cover, some thicker cover, and kind of filter through that wind so it's not just brisk. By the time it hits them, it starts to slow down. They can win stuff a little easier. So this area I actually broke down in a previous scout video. I started off the scout video sitting inside the bed, and it's perfect conditions for that. It's right on the edge of some pines, so those pines will give a little bit of filter cover. Like I said, the bed is by some oaks, so I assume he's going to be browsing on those oaks. These heavy winds are going to drop those acorns pretty well, so that's going to help me out. And when I scouted that in the spring, there was a lot of open foliage then, and you could tell that a bunch of sunlight was hitting that bed. So I deemed that it'd be a little better in the early season, especially because deeper in the bed was the hair. It was more layered in there rather than sitting on top in the spring. I would determine that it was going to be better early season because of that cover, the way the hair was laid in there. It's going to be a good sit. If I see a deer, it's probably going to be that buck. Just walking along this access trail. Stopped to check my map. The second I stopped right here, a deer got up 20 yards away. This wind's coming from this direction. The second I stopped walking, right by the parking lot, just to check a map, the deer there thinks I caught onto him and gets up. Would not be surprised if that was a good buck. I'm gonna stay ready now. Just sitting, watching that access, catching the wind from above. Textbook. It's from this season right here. That's obviously from this season. The rub height's not crazy, but that track is really nice right there. It's not a crazy height, but the track looks good. The track looks more fresh than the rub though. All this stuff is getting browsed on here. You can see that nipped off. That's to the ground right there. I like some nighttime browse. There's a bed over there. Bet you that's where they go to chew their cud. This is all trimmed down like crazy. All this stuff right here. Major browse. Deer getting up.
kicking right up to that bed. Oh, it's a buck. Oh. He just went straight up to that bed. He's at the lower 1/3 of that hill. He went. He's blowing. Getting late. I don't really know what to do now. I might just. I'm just gonna set up there anyways. I hope he didn't kick all the deer out of the area. He was just sitting there watching the access. Half the reason I walked around is to dodge that. He would have seen me a lot sooner over there. There's no way I would have seen him in time. My final approach here. This is where that deer walked up. That is a wide track. I can tell you an antlers, but I don't know how good of a buck. It could have been a nice one. That is steep though. Let me be ready on this other side. Good. Thermals haven't flipped yet. Alright, I just got set up. I'll show you the spot here. It's 5 o'clock right now. I got about 2.5 hours. Just less than shooting light. It's about 2 hours, 15 minutes. Right down there is where I came from. Wind's coming from my back, blowing just up over there. There's these thermal switch. The wind is actually blowing crossways here. If I sat down there, the bed I scouted was over here. As you can see, there's a lot of thick cover. That stuff's all head height over there. And it gets thicker that way. There's down trees. There's plenty of cover for them. And I got a lot of pre-season activity of deer licking branches over there. I saw that the screen was open, the only one open on this ridge in the fall, in the late spring, I should say. So I think it was being worked over the winter in the rut, and that was confirmed by my trail camera study. We found that there was a fawn dropped, in about her conception period would have been mid-November. So that kind of confirms that that's the time I'm using it. But got a bed over here. There's one. Might be a nighttime bed. It's very worn down, so it looks like it's being used this time of year. And there's bedding all along this, so I'm thinking that deer are gonna come in through here at dark, beating their way through these white oaks and then heading down the hill, browsing on some of the sign I saw coming in like that stinging nettle and some more white oaks down there. Expecting a buck to come kind of wind to nose, wind crossed at about a 45, coming from that bed, hopefully coming down this way, shooting him right there, or he's gonna cut to my right, shoot right there. Gotta keep a quick eye out to my right too, because one could come from that other trail as well. Definitely feeling good about this set. I spooked that buck on the way in, but I don't think it's gonna change much, because he actually avoided going towards that bed that I'm hunting right now. And that wind is super loud. I've had multiple trees fall over and other stuff, so I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the deer couldn't even hear him blow that once or twice that he did. I'm excited for this sit. I'm gonna stay on my toes here. Because once that sun gets below this ridge line, it's gonna get hot. Thermals are starting to drop. Got Got that wind swirling all over. It's going off behind me now. But, yeah, there it goes. Off behind me. But the one place it isn't going is actually back in that bedding for once. And these thermals kick in, these deer should get up. That's the biggest buck ever decided to record and not shoot. I had him coming in, hit record once. The camera didn't start. I had him broadside at 20 and I checked the camera. It wasn't recording. I slowly let down. He got ornery when I let down. Just wanted to get good footage of him. I think I would have passed him in the end, but man, that was a good deer. That's a great deer for public, and he read the script. Wow. Little tiny swirl of the wind hit him. That was freaking cool. Man. season on that one right there. That was freaking sweet. Gotta get a little better making sure I'm recording. I know I got plenty of good footage for you guys because I just sat there and zoomed in on them, made sure I got everything in frame. It was freaking super cool. It came right out of that bedding like I thought. Wow.
The season really was turning out to be different. This is the biggest buck I'd ever passed on public land, and it was a big milestone for me to have this discipline because I took one a little smaller than I expected last year out of excitement. I remember thinking to myself that because I looked down while I was at full draw to see if my camera was recording and let down just to make sure it was capturing video, that I was really killing this deer to get it on video, and it wasn't something that I truly wanted. While this was a great hunt and I had a long trip home, I had some historical knowledge that I was itching to take advantage of. The next hunt the next day had even more action. Well, it was a really eventful sit last night. I passed on a nice 9-point after reviewing the footage. I figured it was a 9. I thought he was a 10 on the hoof. Really nice buck. First buck I've ever passed on that had beams and was just outside the ears. I'm on my way to a different property that I've got some historical knowledge with. A bachelor group showed up at about 6:40 a.m. In this spot, and it was 4 deer in the last one. It's a stud 10-point, really dark body in the picture too. And I got him a couple times in this spot over the season. The next time I got him on camera, and he was the 4th deer to come into this group before, but next time I got him on camera, it was 3 days in a row, from October 12th to 14th. So that's during the Battle of the Bows this year. So I might just have to kill one over here and show those guys what's what, but it'd be ideal if I just kill them right now. And we don't have to wait till then. But that's the mission today, and this wind's really hard to hunt, so I'm gonna have to find a tree in the dark for this spot. But it is the same temperature, the same day, and the same wind direction as their last appearance. So the goal here is to capitalize on just one showing and try to get me a buck.
I'll just move 2 deer on the way in here. So over there. Just 2 staring right at me. Setup. I can hear a deer cough. You can just lay it down. Just to my right here. Sounds like he's trying to hook up a loogie. It's a four-corn. There's another buck. Wait for me as well. There's 2 four-corn down. really stuffy nose, and it's kind of funny. You can hear him like snorting and stuff, blowing up snot, coughing a little. It's kind of funny. I can't really see him well, but I get a better glimpse of him because he's constantly going. He's snorting. Poor dude's kind of cold. Those 3 deer bedded on the edge of some goldenrod in this CRP with short grass in front of them. So they're still bedding, even though they're in a group, making sure they have a view of below. Think above, over, below. Decided that I need to freaking get down if I'm gonna get down. If I'm gonna get anything done today, I really need to get down right now. I need to get some editing done on my last hunt. I need to probably edit some of this in there actually too. And last time I saw buck movement like this in the morning, there was a big break and then a lot at night in this spot. So I need to get out of here. Problem is my wind is going into the bedding I'm on to protect. It's going to be tough getting in and out. I'm going to make a big loop around. But I think it's what I need to do in order to make the most of today. Great. It's been refreshed recently. Try to stalk up and get a kill.
I briefly spot a doe walking away from me on the way in. I can see her tail end just as she goes behind a tree. I decide that because it's on opposing ridge from where I want to hunt, and a good 300 yards away, I might want to stalk in and get a kill on camera. If you guys can remember from my video last year in the early season, I spotted a buck doing a similar thing, walking away from me, and deemed that he was a shooter. Over 3 hours, I walked upon him and stalked very slowly. I'm using similar tactics in this video, where I'm hiding behind trees whenever I can, slowly moving, making sure I check my steps before I take them, and keeping an eye on her for her reaction. I quickly realized that this was actually 2 does. I continued to tail them very patiently until I got them within range. At this point, I could tell the deer had gotten a glimpse of me. She starts looking at me, then fake looking away, keeping her ears swiveled towards me. She's checking me out and falsely looking away to see if I'll move. Make sure you absolutely stay still if you're in a position like this. With this doe, it only took 2 minutes, but in some situations, like with the buck last year, it took up to 5, standing in awkward positions, one leg up in the air, bow all weird, but it's worth it. The deer will usually calm down and start moving away. Although a little spooky, it'll move away. In this case, I got to the point where I could draw out the doe broadside at 40 yards. I had this shot held for about 3 seconds. I was right on her heart, and I was ready to release. I routinely practice at 50 yards, and I can consistently put 6 out of 7 arrows within a 4-inch circle at that range. While this was only 40, and I am confident at other ranges, I knew that it was getting on the risky distance for shooting a whitetail. I decided to let her clear the tree, and then stalk up while her view was blocked.
I can see a deer bedded looking at me. On the hill over there, might be a buck. Shoot. They're gonna spook. Trying to get my other camera on. He's looking right at me. It's a little buck. Yeah, it's a buck. Not a shooter. Cool looking bird though. Looking right at me. I'm betting those does are long gone. I'm in a pickle because I have to get over by him. I can't just stalk up and try to shoot him. That's better. Okay. Just go away. Do not. Do not come over here. I swear to God, if you come over here. He's actually gonna freak. He's gonna circle downwind at me, isn't he? Oh boy. Well, I gotta get moving. So let's just see how close I can get to this buck before he spooks. Oh, he's looking at me. There he goes. Oh, you gotta blow, buddy. Oh, you gotta blow. Come on. That's just mean. Alright guys, be wary of what you see. Engage as far as tracks, because as you saw, that was not a shooter and it's well over 4 fingers wide. Well over. You gotta be aware of what he's hitting if he's running. These are splayed running tracks from an at best 2.5-year-old buck. Probably 1.5, maybe 2.5. And you saw the genetics of a lot of our 1.5s in here with those long spikes. This guy had a little more of a basket rack going, so maybe a 1.5 with good genetics, or 2-year-old, or 2.5. So be aware of how the animal's moving when you're trying to gauge the size of it based off those tracks. This is the setup. I just had a doe come straight up my access trail and spook off. It's dead still, so I don't think she saw me, but she definitely smelled my boot prints. She did not blow, but it was enough for her to spontaneously get the hell out of there. Just like that. Really gonna practice drawing this guy.
This buck hung around for about half an hour. I practiced drawing on him, lining up my pin, and ensuring he was in camera frame several times. It's crucial to get practice in any way you can if you're going to be selective. This may look like harvesting does or just drawing on bucks like in this case. Some important takeaways from these hunts are: 1. Spring scouting pays off. I wouldn't be on either of these bucks without scouting in the spring. 2. Focus on beds and not food. Both of these bucks passed up freshly dropping acorns to browse on greens like this buck did, or mushrooms like the first buck did. Quickly transitioning food sources can give an idea of where a buck may want to bed during a certain time of year, but they can eat nearly anything, so you have to be close to their bedding. And 3. Never give up. All these hunts had deer spook on the way in and below. Rather than completely switch up, I trusted in my tactics and was sure that the deer I spooked hadn't gone into the bedding area I intended to hunt. All these hunts ended in success of deer presenting shots. Really gotten on more deer this season, and it's been better than ever, and I can see my hard work paying off with every sit. I'm very excited to bring you guys some more deer hunting content, and I immensely appreciate your support. Check out my personal YouTube page, The Wild Calling, to see just how I picked out my spot in the first hunt. As always, like, subscribe, and leave a comment for me to reply to. Thanks, everyone.